Yeah, who is it that wants to change that?
Okay, myself.
Thank God that's not you. Yeah. So the one who has the agenda of changing the emotions isn't you. Yeah. That should lose that there should be a lot of loss of interest there, and you'll lose interest in wanting to change the emotions. Yeah. How many emotions last that long? Tell me.
If, is resentment an emotion?
No, resentment is not an emotion. It can trigger an emotive memory, let's say, but it is not an emotion.
The
It's
judgment.
That's manufactured, yes. Resentment, a feeling that you were slighted is definitely manufactured by the head.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people would like to get out of the manufacturing of the feeling. Yeah. That would be a clearer view. Trying to get out of the feeling. The only time you have that idea is when you're in the feeling. Yeah. So basically, as a gunslinger, you've already been shot through the heart. There's first the idea of being in, then there's the desire to be out. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So feelings are used just like everything else is to reinforce the idea that there's a feeler. And then the feeler crowns himself with attributes that he can change what I feel, he can control the feeling, he can do this and does that, and he goes off, the mental state goes off on another wild goose chase. Yeah. And when it fails, which it is inevitable to do, it will rationalize it, blame others or something else. Yeah. So, so this is sort of if
That,
you had 30 things right now appearing to you and you change the interest in the one they were appearing to, your whole reaction to those things would be different, even though the things are exactly the same. Yep, as they were before. You put 30 things on a wall and you would look at them and not knowing that you're giving it all the meaning it has, you try to take the things off the wall or put them in a different sequence or whatever it may be. But they're really inherently empty. They're being given meaning by the ownership. Yes, the idea of you is transferring a lot of meanings to them. And then now those meanings can bite you in the ass. Yeah. There's a statement in the Course that describes it very well. You and I are the dreaming of the dream. Uh, we forget that. How can we forget that? That's impossible. But can we seemingly forget that? Yes. In a dream, you can seemingly forget that which is impossible to forget in a dreaming. Yeah. So seemingly is the key uh, recognition. It appears to be true or false to us. Okay. So by forgetting that we are giving everything all the meaning it has, that we are the dreaming of the dreaming, we now give a meaning to everything that we're dreaming and we give it a meaning that it can affect us. Yeah. So, how can it affect us if we're not a thing? Of course, it couldn't. But because we are now seemingly a thing, that thing can be affected. So, you and I are the dreaming of the dream. We forget that and we take ourselves to be the dreamt. And now everything we're giving meaning to, we have given it a meaning that it can affect us. And there you go. And it's just different grades of effect. Yeah. If you call something there'll be a stronger effect. If you see it as just like uh, being sad, it will have less effect. Yeah. The more it's emphasized with the my, the bigger effect that which comes after it has. Yes? Yes. Mental state bouncing off and on. There is no credible you that is a replacement for what you're hoping to call the false you. The false you never gets replaced with a true you. There isn't one. Yeah. There isn't one. It's just mental. The mental's reaction to verbing is to find a noun and make up a noun. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I wanted to do it. It's mechanical, it's programmed. And it's faster than your consciousness. Yeah. Not the awareness, but your consciousness is slow to the draw. You are. By the time you become conscious of something, it's already been given meaning. Already has been given meaning. Yeah. Now, what you want to do is change that meaning. Yes.
How exactly do I reframe things by changing meaning? How do I change the meaning? If I'm walking down a dark alley, my mind is manufacturing a response already,
No, a reaction already.
a reaction.
Yeah. Your response is an all the time at all time response, which is you're awake. Yeah. And then there's reactions to that. And one of the reactions to that is we're not awake. And so forth. You walk in the dark alley, and the only guide you have is the head, and it's a bad guide. So when it says it's scared, you think you're scared. Yes?
But how do you deal with that? You
You
touch,
don't, you lose interest in it. This is not about dealing with it. There's tons of groups and seminars and everything to get skillful means to live close to a fire that can erupt at any moment. There's tons of ways you can try to do your best. I find a futility in all that, and it's a loss of interest has done it in a way. Yes? I've lost interest in changing shit that doesn't really stand true anyway. Yeah, you change it, you think it's a wall, and then the things crawl over the wall and they're in your life. Then you get a steel wall and they go under the wall. It's just like you don't understand, maybe you do, that you are giving everything all the meaning it has. When you give a meaning to something that you want to get out of it, you've given it a big in. You've given it a reality. Yes? So this is just about a loss of interest across the boards. It's not targeting the loss of interest. It's observing that there's been a loss of interest. And this is how you come to know. You find out, really. Yeah? You just find out. You had a feeling that something you heard was true. It resonated in a certain way, and you opened up to be entertained. Yeah, there's an entertaining of it, and then effects and things occur, and you observe them, and you come to certain conclusions. Yeah, yeah, the action figure, and maybe it gets to a point where it's surrendered. Yeah, it realizes when it joins the fray, it's a bigger fray. Every fight it tries to stop, there's more fighting. You see the the flammability of you getting involved in anything as this idea of you. It just incites more. Yeah. So there's a loss of interest. Things go the way they go. And you know what? If you don't try to change them, they change themselves in a way. They really do. If you don't rush in and try to bend something into a certain condition, it may bend that way with loss of interest. I'm serious. Yeah. Yeah. So, but the idea that, you know, if there's a feeling, there must be a feeler. This is the mental logic 101. Yes. This is the only way it can see things. It sees things it sees one thing and it implies another, So it sees doing, that implies a doer. It's all duality, yes? Doing implies a doer. That would be duality, yes? Doing, doer, duality. Yes, yes. Yeah. That mental logic, if you found out that something was programmed to act or go a certain way, would you stop whipping it to try to make it go a different way? Of course, you would. You would save that energy for something else. You would stop trying to whip the dead horse to come around. Yeah. So the system as it is failed, literally. And because it's us, we're trying to change that or rationalize it or try to find ways to keep it. And uh, you doctoring with the programming is more programming, literally. So I feel a complete end to looking. Uh, yeah, let's just leave it at that. A complete end to looking. Yeah. And then there's the seeing. It's a different way to roll. Yeah. It may not be for anyone or everyone or anything. It may not, but you're here and this is how I see it. And this is how it goes. Yeah. The whole pivot is loss of interest, and it's based on most of the topics you're super interested in is because they're your topics, literally. If you weak Your whole curriculum is based on you in a sense. If that you shrinks, you may find a different seat assignment. You may whatever. Just but you have to realize how the mental state works. Trying to lose interest in it as it is more interest in it. Yeah.
Oh,
Trying to lose interest in the head as the head is more interest in the head.
mm.
This isn't like it's Tuesday's rules and Wednesdays it changes. No. Yeah. Yeah. We have it in course, we have it in recovery. Quit playing God. So most people, when they hear that, they say, well, I'm the one playing God, obviously. So there's a playing of God, it must be me. Okay, I'm going to try to stop playing God. Okay. You give it a good shot from 8 o'clock to 8:05 a.m. It works, and then it probably blows up. Yeah. So then, of course, tons of reactions to that arise. You feel like, wow, why am I this or that? Bah, bah. It just pours on more and more into this little you. Yeah. Yeah. But quit playing God is not you stopping something. It's seeing you're not that which is playing God. That is what it is. And therefore you quit. Yeah. How does the quitting look like? You lose interest in that which is playing God. You just lose interest in what it's saying to you, what it's trying to get your attention to go for. You just lose interest in the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak. Yep. And of course, now the interest goes out in different ways and brings back different ideas and different revelations than the head does. By the time when after the head gets something, it's neutered it. And by the time you're able to recognize it, it's sort of dead. Yeah. Now you're in a different delivery system. It's sudden whack, yeah, and then an outpouring of effects. Yeah, a validation, not in doing and having, but the being of it. Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully it will lead to a point where the scales of the non-duality thing shift, and there's more on the spacious side than the thing side. And then you'll travel lighter. through the things of the world, as a thing in the world. Yes. I do not believe you're going to become a superhuman. I do not believe, yeah. I just, I just don't. I mean, you were born a Toyota, and just by putting a grill of a Rolls Royce, it doesn't change your Toyota. Yes, you could put Ferrari tires on it, but basically, you're a Toyota. So, yeah. And the great joy is you're not. Yeah. It's awesome. You're not a Toyota. Yeah. So maybe trying to hide the Toyotaism, you lose interest in it. Yeah. So you can finally, quote unquote, be a Toyota because you're not a Toyota. Yeah. Who is going to want to be a Toyota if it is a Toyota? It wants, yes, it wants to be something else. But when you realize you're not a Toyota, Toyota forever, it's fine. Yeah. What? Yeah.
So I don't change the meaning of something. I just lose interest in it.
Yes. That changes the meaning in something. You don't need to change the meaning. You lose interest in it. That changes the meaning.
Is all this talk about reframing thoughts garbage?
Uh, well, if it stinks, probably, yes.
Okay.
But I don't know. That's not my forte. I mean, with all the thinking that goes on, the target shouldn't be thought. It should be the thinker. Yes. If you lose interest in the thinker, you'll lose interest in the thoughts, and then the meaning of the thoughts will change. Not by changing the meaning, but the loss of interest will change it. Yes?
Okay.
Yeah, I think the trying to change the meaning of things is futile, and therefore it's valuable. It's going to fail you. So, yes, yes. You're just going to have other thoughts that are yours. Do you really sit? Tell your thoughts to think differently. I bet you if you could, you maybe have like you're not even a four on the floor. You may have one or two way, you know, the grooves are set. The thoughts are like propelled water and they go to down these grooves. Yes? You don't have hundreds of grooves for thought. There are few of them, and what happened is they have become a certain like a circling. Yeah. So there's rethinking quite a lot going on. Yeah. And it just goes, and I feel after a while it gets tighter and tighter, almost as if it inexorably it's going down the drain. And with your interest and attention, not your, but the interest and attention, I would see when you get the message where it's going. I mean, I would hope that interest and attention would jump ship, so to speak. Yeah. The only ship you'll go down is the SS Paul, if you're Paul. You jump off of any other ship, you would. So this way is recognizing there is no SS Paul. So yes. But
Thank you.
go ahead, try your best. Try to change your feelings or whatever.
Well,
Do a drug if you want to change your feelings. Do a
woo,
drug. Do a shot of Coke. You're going to change how you feel like that. It'll take about, if you shoot it, it will take a couple of seconds. You will have succeeded in changing how you were feeling. You will. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Yeah. But what you expected for that change to bring about is not going to happen. You're going to, if you start shooting coke, let's say, hopefully you don't, but if you're shooting coke, maybe there's a gap between the first shot and the second shot, like 12 minutes. But the gap between the second and third is about 8 minutes. Then the gap between the third and the fourth is about 4 minutes. Yes. You go through the eternal addictive cycle in such a quick way, and you really experience life as the hungry ghost in the Tibetan view with the giant belly and the small mouth. Yes? What they say in recovery is one is too many and a thousand's not enough. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Thank
My
you.
whole life was about changing how I felt. Yeah. Jesus Christ. There is verified ways you can change how you feel right now. Yeah. But what happens is the changing of how you feel feeds the changer of how you feel. And another cycle gets, it's almost like there's a storm in a way. The mind is agitated and then it sheds big storms. Yeah. And when the speed of the storms get strong enough, they're like tornadoes. These are the active addictions of spiritual addiction, drug addiction, food addiction. And these tornadoes go through your life and they can produce a lot of damage very quickly. Yeah. Yeah. Changing one's feelings can become an incredible addiction. Yeah. That, and the, where the solution would be, the problem resides. So in the moment, that here, that mental here is what you're trying to get out of completely. Yes. All around that idea that of the mental here is the here, which is your refuge and salvation. But the addiction of the head has you, the last place you want to be is here. The last place you want to be is where you are. You want to change how you feel because you can't change the state you're in. You can't get a bus or a flight, so you got to change how you feel. And it never, never fucking ends. Yeah. And all of it reinforces this noun called Paul. Yeah. You go through one cyclonic thing, let's say addiction, and then maybe you hit the sexual addiction for another thing. You get obsessed over some lady or a guy at the meetings, and then money comes, maybe the addiction, on and on and on. And the life, the mental realm is just like volcanic tornadoes things, just speeding up. Yeah. So good luck. It's like that hole in the dike. You punch the hole in and then you put your thumb in to stop it. Yeah. There's no winning. There's no winning there. So I found just a blanket loss of interest, and I found it was determined by seeing that which was taken to be was not me. That's how it triggered. Because that had its tentacles into everything, then there was in a loss of interest in that affected a lot of other things. Yes. It's not like I went into 8,000 categories and tried to clean it up or whatever. It was almost like a chain reaction. As long as there was a sufficient enough loss of interest in Paul, then all these other things, the level of meaning they had got changed. Yes. Meaning, the meaning of things has a lot to do with the interest and attention in it. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. You can say this is important to me and it's not important to me. Yeah. And I can say something, it's important to me, it's not important to you. Yeah. So this idea of you is uh, it contracts and there's a direction of interest and attention because what you get interested in attention to is like a mirror and you see a big picture of you. So it does a thing where I'm super into this, and then you're getting a big image of you as being the one super into this, like surfing and stuff like that. Yes. There's a lot of identity with stuff. So you get caught, you go into this and you're just seeing a big picture of you in a sense. Yeah. The back of the head has a little wall and a projection of you is appearing. There's addiction upon addiction here. The mental state is addicted to this idea of being you. It's addicted to it. It cherishes it. It's got a very weird relationship with it. Yeah. Yeah. You best ought to not deal with it, literally. Yeah. Because you may believe there's an aspect that's not mental that will deal with the mental, but it's probably infected with mentalness. Yeah. I would just go to surrender here. Just admit you're outmatched. Yeah, and see what happens. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And feelings change. I mean, do you have it's not like a feeling is in a box and you can open it and then there's the closing. Yeah. Feelings are sloppy. Yeah. They're more like how can you package water? There's feelings going constantly. Yeah. Which, how would you package a part of that feeling stream and say, well, this, yeah, yeah. I mean, good luck, good luck. Those aren't feelings mostly forgettable quickly. Hmm?
Is surrendering a feeling?
No, surrendering is a conclusion. You've been brought to a conclusion about many topics. Yeah. There's no exploring, no investigating, no going over it. It's just finished. Yeah. Is there a feeling with that? Pretty much no, I don't think. Unless the contentment of not moving so much. Yeah. So the agitation of the head gets quelled a little bit. Yeah. And I think that there's a contentment there. I don't mean happiness, I mean contentment. Yeah. You've reached almost like an equilibrium, an equal, yeah. Yeah, I believe what we are outshines circumstances and situations. So you get to a state of being content enough where what's going on doesn't make or break your day so much. Yes. Yeah. But if you're interested, there's tons of people on. Uh,
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it.
Instead of managing, I would a humble bit of advice. Instead of managing the INGs of life, see that there's no ER. Yeah. So instead of trying to manage the doing, unless you need it, I had to be managed. So the action figure went through a lot of some jail time, a lot of hospital time, and a lot of rehab time to get adjusted so that I wouldn't hurt myself and others like on a daily level. Yes. So the action figure needed help and it found help in life. Yes. Uh, But helping the action figure just for the sake of helping the action figure, I'm not into too much. Yeah. Wherever I am right now seemingly works. I'm not like planning anyone's demise or doing anything. I'm like an old cow grazing in the backyard. It doesn't, so yeah. You hit a certain age, and to the mass population, you're invisible. Uh, it's very cool, really. So yes,
Thank you.
yeah. But if you want to change your feelings, you can just instead of like hot coffee, make an iced coffee.
I'm just wondering what happened to me when you know, it's, I can't articulate the distinctions between resignation and acceptance. Um, but what happened when I hit bottom and then started to bounce back up? Didn't I change my feelings? Didn't I add hope? Be
No, no, you didn't. You observed feelings changed. I don't
what
think you did the changing, no.
what happened to me?
You got you become you found yourself under a new influence. That's what happened to you. Yes? Read the language of the big book. You will be brought to a condition, you will be placed in a position, you will be delivered to a position. It doesn't sound like you did anything, does it? And then you observe that the problem does not exist for you. And this came about through no thought or effort on your part. That is basically uh, the involuntary firing of the mental state. You, you were you were placed in a position of neutrality with no thought or interest in no thought or effort on your part. Ding, that's that. Yeah. Now you can live a life when that becomes the norm in a sense. Yeah. You are brought to, you find yourself, you recognize something. Uh, yeah. So you didn't change your feelings. You basically follow the way of life that changed your actions, and then your feelings changed. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever be able to figure it out.
But who wants to figure it out?
I don't want to.
There
You're
you go.
expended an awful lot of effort, and
Uh,
I can't figure out, I can't attribute the results to anything other than a supernatural thing.
well, just say supernatural, but it's not a thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
how do you see it?
not a thing. How do I see you? Not a thing. How do I see me? Not a thing. Does the thing see it that way? No. Am I gonna just pound it into it and have it see it that way? No. I could care less. I could care less how delusional the action figure is. It doesn't have the aims or the ways and the means to create much havoc. So I don't care the level of delusion it's living in because it's not me. Seriously. Yeah. I do not demand much from it anymore. If it can get out of the house on one try, that's a good day. instead of taking 3 or 4 times. If it doesn't say this one statement, where's my phone? That day is is performed quite well for itself. Yeah. Did I go to great lengths? No, I just put things where I put things in a habit way. So I find them more easier, simple. Did I have to go to the Himalayas to find out about that? No. Cave, no. Just put some racks with hooks, put the shit on there. I'm like a monkey. I'll get into the habit of it. There'll be less days. Where's the phone? Where's the car keys? Where's the wallet? Yeah, it's not rocket science. It's like training. And the head, the action figure can get into habits, and those habits are actions without thought. And the biggest thought you'll be without is you're the one doing the action. Yeah, there'll be an action without thought that you're the one doing the action. Yeah. But I don't know how, if you're feeling terrible, I don't have experience with that. I haven't had a long lasting depression, I don't feel. So where you would really want to change your feelings, I haven't touched that stone, so I can't tell you. Yeah. But I feel the great relief doesn't come from changing things. It's from seeing things in a different way. Yeah. And I believe where that pivots is on the idea of self. And when you lose interest in that idea, things change. Yes. And then you may have a stable feeling of contentment that can basically carry you through all the day-to-day, you know, active uh, environmental changes. Yes, yes. So, but I'm so happy you're here, John. I am. And
I'm sorry if I took too much time.
no, you never do. It's all a chance to just go off and stuff. Yeah, we need people to ask questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, this being a mailman, you have the same route every day. It could go on forever. Just keep putting it out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see, I humbly believe a lot of things uh, depend on uh, how much interest and attention is getting sucked into that black hole of identity as you. Yeah. I feel that interest and attention, that how the head uses it to enslave you into this narrative, freed from the object of the narrative, seeing that it may not be you, that interest and attention is going to surprise you by what it brings back into your life. Yes? Yeah. I think you'll be very happy with the deliveries. I do. Really, really do. So here I am just hanging out and sharing. That's all what can I do?
Happy New Year, sir.
Yeah. Happy New Year for everyone. The message hasn't changed. Yeah. Yeah. Duality would be a world of ing seen from an er. So the world of feeling seen from the feeler's point of view. And that meaning that goes through the ownership of the feelings is coloring the feelings. Yes. Now, you can't stop the feelings, you can't control the feelings, but and you but you can notice where the coloring to the feelings is coming from. And just maybe possibly entertain, I may not be that. And if you're not that, the colors you're going to see in the things you feel are going to change with no thought or effort on your part. You're going to observe it. Yes. You're going to see differently.
If that's true, then feelings can result from internal physiological input.
Most feelings go unnoticed. Yes. I mean, are you keeping tabs on feelings all day? Forget it. Everything drops out of as soon as it's gone. Yeah. I mean, everything, feelings and thoughts, they're all clouds that evaporate through movement, and then the water content goes back to the source, only to be blown up as more clouds. Yeah. And then being a position of observing this is going to end after 70 or 80 years, and it'll be like it never happened. Why not have that feeling now? Yeah.
Tell me how to get that.
I'm telling you how you're going to lose interest in getting it, and you may find it.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meaning and interest and attention are very similar. Yes. Meaning is, let's say, a word, and then interest and attention either capitalizes the word or doesn't, or it blows up the font and all like this. So meaning and interest and attention are going hand in hand in this little mental activity. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. And it's all pivoting around a self as the center of it.
Okay.
And a simple definition of self is a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. Yeah. Which isn't long-lasting, isn't independent, and it ain't separate. But there you go. Yeah. So the action figure is the non-existent thing being animated. Yeah. That is the action figure. Yeah. It's going to run out and it's going to reveal something it never tried to hide, which is you're a non-existent thing. Because when all of what you think is you leaves, what will be left behind is the body, which is the non-existent thing. So, knowing it or not, existence is what we are. The head just wants to put a body around it and name it and give it form. Yeah. Yet, all the huffing and puffing at the end of it, the non-existent thing is left behind when you seem to leave, isn't it?
Yes.
So don't you think it was also left behind when you came? In a sense, yes. Hmm. Interest and attention leaves that, it enriches your day. You're not going to have any, as they say, you came in with nothing, you're leaving with nothing. Yeah. I don't think I would ever have, well, whatever. Miracles abound. Things change. Yep. All right. Anyone else?
No, no hands, Paul.
This is really not a message that's going to maybe make John feel better, but there'll be a loss of interest in what has so much meaning for John. Yeah. And that I would say is going to produce an overview result. Yeah. Yeah. you're not freed from you're really freed from the need to be liberated. You get the meaning of that, right? That which needs to be liberated will never be liberated. You'll be freed from the need to be liberated because you're not that, which can never be liberated. Yeah. So what we want to be a future tense condition is a present tense condition. Yeah. The head wants to not notice that. It wants you to know everything, but not know this. Yeah. And there you go. We can describe the head. We can because we're not it. You can understand it because you're not it. You experience it constantly. Or do you? You get enough knowledge. Enough is just a shift in emphasis. Yeah. Now, what you are doesn't shift. You don't become more awake or more aware. Every change that's affected is on the action figure because what we are is a changeless state. But where that influence occurs here is changing the changing state. Yes? You may find solace where before you didn't. You may feel a certain underlying contentment when there was agitation. There'll be changes galore to the action figure. But what we are has not changed one bit, nor will it ever. Yeah? It's not a thing that's changeable, period. I mean, how do you change space? You think by filling it up? That doesn't change space, does it? When you take something that's in a room and you take it out, does the space of the room feel lighter? Is it weighs lighter? Obviously not. The wall in this room isn't taking up any space. It's an appearance in space. Yeah. If you knock down this wall, you're not going to see a void and then have to rush space in there. Yeah. There's the wall is not taking up any fucking space. It's appearing in space. Our bodies are appearing in space. When everybody, if we all died at the same time, space would not be lighter. It would. Look at the screen. The biggest investment for a movie theater is buying the screen. After that, I don't think they get a new screen every year. I mean, I think they could have a theater open for 50 years with the same screen. Maybe they get more screen. And basically, you're shooting, the screen can take everything. Romantic comedies that aren't funny nor romantic, horror movies, army movies, nothing leaves any stain on the screen, not one thing. You were looking at the stream so intently, not noticing the screen. This is the movie we're in. You're looking right at the screen constantly, and you're not seeing it. You're seeing everything that's appearing on the screen. Yes? This is this is the program of the action figure to see what appears on the screen, not to see the screen. Yeah. That's not its programming. Its programming is to see things, feel things, taste things, touch things, smell things. That's what it's meant to do. Why can't I touch no thing? Well, that's the programming. Yeah. So, but if that's the spacesuit and the person in or whatever the thing in the spacesuit is that thing in the spacesuit destined to live only as that spacesuit? Of course not. Yeah. Because it could be something, it could be in a whole other situation and condition because it's not the spacesuit. Yeah. Yeah. Why can't I see no thing? Well, there you go. You know, that's first of all, you are no thing. That's why you can't see it. But this thing can't see it because it's not meant to see it. Yeah. What, and you want to use it for something it's not meant to be used for. I want to see the 11th dimension. Good luck. It's not built for it. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just it's well, so I'm just so happy to be here and I really enjoy these events because I don't think about any of this all day. Yeah. What I woke up thinking about is how to glue this screen for the car so we can have the GPS on it. And my faith thinking, oh, this stuff is really good stickum didn't work. Paid $11 for it. This will hold 30 pounds. It didn't hold shit. So I'm perplexed about how am I going to do that. That's the only thing I'm keen on at the moment. The action figure. It's not, it's it's given up the I can imagine what it would be like not to be me. No, it can't. It can't. Its dream to be absent is only matched by its insane idea that it will be there to experience its own absence. It's just so you just, I mean, how much more do you need for it to tell you, I'm not up to the task? Yeah. I'm a thing, you're a thing, everything's a thing. You're trying to tell me I'm a no thing. Okay, what does it look to be a no thing as a thing? Okay, I'll do it my best shot. Loving blue eyes, gazing absently. Whenever my curly hair gets straight and long, I walk slowly, whatever. Whatever my head would think would be my absent look is always contained in the context of the action figure. Yes. It sees all the content from the context, and the context, it's a thing. Yeah. You're a thing, I'm a thing, everything's a thing. That's it. And okay, let's slap this thing into a different condition. Good luck. Serious. Talk to Mike Clark. Talk to these people. They've tried it for 30 years, 40 years. They're the happiest they've ever been. Now, because they gave up the ghost. Yes. Now the sphincter muscle the sphincter muscle has loosened up. It's just everything works better. So there was
Hey,
yes.
Paul, David has his hand up,
All right, David.
asking you to unmute, David.
David.
Yeah,
There we go.
it's
There you go.
amazing how there's no technique whatsoever you can do with this message. I mean, it's like the technique of non-duality would be like a microscopic black hole. It's just nothing you can do. And that's what makes it so great. I don't know. I just wanted to say that. It's just no contemplation, no meditation, not even the quickest affirmation or visualization, nothing.
Yeah, there you go. Yet
Yeah.
there'll be things that, and you'll do things. Yes. Just see it as not you. Look at Heather. She's treadmilling. Yeah. So she listens to non-duality while on the treadmill. So the body completely absorbed in that, and the head, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're truly not going to get it, David. That's the true getting it, really. It is. The true getting it, really, we're not fooling around. You're not getting it. John Kay, Michael, Stacy, Paul Hedderman are not getting it. Yeah. They've already been programmed to be gotten already. The only way forward is negation. Yeah. If you work affirmation, it leads to it anyway. So you can save yourself some time. start at the negative point, and then it can go seamlessly that way. Yeah. Yes.
And
So,
whatever convulsion you have to go through, or moment of extreme pain or terror or whatever, it's not you.
and that's already probably over that part. Yeah. It's not even going to be, you wouldn't even make a short film out of it. It's just going to be a dropping of stuff, and you're walking around seeing blue is blue and red is red. It's not a huge transformation. Yeah. The action figure is oblivious to most of the stuff. Yes. Yes. It's still looking for, when he goes in, it looks for a seat, a cushion on the seats. It's got its agenda. Checks out if there's desserts on the counter. That's all. Does its thing. And you're not that. How more awake can you be? You're here, you're awake involuntarily. Yeah. I mean, sights are coming in without notice. Sounds are coming in without notice. Feelings are just going off. Thoughts cascading. Uh, you're sort of like a tunnel, maybe, that connects, like a station where all the trains come through. There's a lot of shit going on. Nothing ever stops. No one gets off. No one gets on. Just keeps on keeping on. Yeah. You're awake, aren't you? Yeah. Your inherent condition is awakeness. Yeah, it is. And while we're seemingly in this event of dreaming, things that are true can appear not to be true. So for many of us, it appears that we're not awake because we're centered on being this body. Yeah. And if you have a body idea of spirit, the body doesn't seem to be that awake. Yes. Yes. So now you're living as if you're not awake, but you can be awake to that. You can be awake to that idea, that false idea. You can be awake to that, wide awake. Yeah. Yeah. So here you can seemingly be awake to being awake, which will probably look like a traveling lighter through this life, or you can seem to be asleep to being awake, which doesn't change the fact of awakeness at all. But now you'll be awake to a lot of shit you didn't want to be awake to. Yeah. 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 You have to blame it on something. You have to, yes, rationalize it, excuse whatever, on and on, make up tons of shit to make it seem to make sense. Yeah. But when all's said and done, uh, it's much ado about nothing, really. Do you think that David could do anything to scar the awakeness that is its inherent nature? Give me a break. every sword never cuts the space, does it? It's always accepted and it moves all of its fucking movements of death and parrying and cutting and everything. The space isn't getting cut or stabbed or anything like that. You blow a giant missile through the sky doesn't get hit by it. It's just all of us, all of our antics as an action figure don't do shit. They don't leave any mark. Yeah. The absence will never even remember any presence of us. Yeah. You'll be so be a big fish in a little pond. Yeah. Do whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Do less harm here. Yeah. 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 There's a joy in your underlying state is always not knowing, but that really gets brought about by knowing enough. You know enough to realize you're in a state of not knowing. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. You're traveling lighter, David, eh? You came in here, Dave. Yes. There was a lot of seriousness, man. This was serious business. Now we can laugh at each other. Yeah. Not bad. Yeah. All right. Well, anyone else? Great to see you, David, as always. David has been here for a while, and Mike G and Kerry. I've been able to see Mike a little. I spent a lot of time with Kerry. Annette met Heather. I have met Mrs. Mike Clark. Yes. Mike G. I've got Susan Harris. Yes. I've been Annette, of course. We got a ticket in New York City, which I knew was coming. Uh, yeah. What is it that the action figure really wants? Is to travel lighter. Yeah. If it can't make everything easy, why not take it easier? Yeah. You're not going to be able to make everything easy. You're not. So take it easier. Really. That's a gift. That's a gift to the action figure. Yeah. Yeah. It couldn't do it. It's outmatched. Yeah. It's got an unruly head and maybe arthritic knees. Yeah. Yeah. So a little less interest in it is going to go a long, long way. I'm serious. Yeah. Too much interest is not healthy. It's just not fucking healthy on a lot of levels. Truly. When there's a loss of interest, things that you try to get better may become better just without your effort. And there's a big message in that, a very big message. Yeah. Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing. Yeah, just see what happens. Yeah. Okay. Well, if no one's wants to ask, we'll start saying goodbye. Ernie, yes. Turn over that little bit of willingness, bro. Yes, that's all. JP Sola. Miss Annette, nice to see you. Thank you for your collecting of the Zen Bitch Slap scriptures. Uh, I'm gonna just go without them for a while, see what happens.
It was a fun little project.
Nice, yes. Arjuna, nice to see you there in Perth. Yes. Susan Harris, as always. Mr. Kerry, Mike G. Mike G is breaking my heart. I may not see him. It's okay, Mike. I won't hold it against you. We got Mia. As always, nice to see you, honey. Heather. She's got the rhythm. Mike Clark. We'll have a gym, a Zen Bitch Slap gym. We only do one pose in yoga, dead man pose. That would be it. Yeah. We'll turn on the treadmill, but no one will get on them. Yeah. There you go. Mike Clark. Nice to see you, bro. Yes. I knew something when I saw you that day in Mexico, eh? Yeah. Michael Stacy, as always, my main man. John Kay. Yeah. Stephen Mack, on having never left. Eli, nice to see you. Seven C's, Jim. Well, nice to see you, Seven C's. David Lowe, Zen Bitch Slap. Yeah. Hey, we'll be around tomorrow. What's tonight? Tomorrow. Wednesday, tomorrow. We will be here 7 o'clock Pacific time. We're going to be going down the desert on Friday, so we'll have the Zoom on Saturday from Joshua Tree. You can come. We're going to have a talk the same day at 1, and then we'll probably have one on Sunday in the afternoon when it gets dark. Maybe we'll do that Zoom too. Maybe we'll probably do that as Zoom also. So yeah, if you're around the desert, come and check us out. It's on the event page. It's got the address. You can call up. I think there's a number there. If not, I think my number's there. Yeah. All right. So see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paul, as always.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks. Thanks,
Thanks,
Mikey.
everyone. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, dude. Thank you, Michael.
See you,
Yep.
everyone.
Bye.
Paul, thanks, Michael.
You're welcome.